Network. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the opening round out of 6 for the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship, which takes place over the next 6 weeks. We'll be heading, first of all, to here, the home British Motorsport Silverstone. Then we'll be heading to Donington Grand Prix, Spa, Nürburgring, Brands Hatch, and Snetterton 300 to round out the series on March the 13th. And you're joined once again by Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt in the booth. JP, we've got the Ginetta G55 GT4s out on track. 3.7 litre Ford V6s, pushing just north of 350 brake horsepower, top out at about 150 miles an hour. 0 to 60 in around about 6 seconds. These are going to be a bit of a different departure from the front-wheel drive, let's say, wheel-hopping Fiestas we had in 150 Motorsport's opening championship.
I think this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. I think this is a completely different beast to the car before. And these guys are really going to have to work at it. Is it going to be a car that they can jump in and just instantly get control of? Well, some people have struggled, should we say, during the practice session that I've been watching. And some people have kind of got there okay. But I think this car is, going to be tricky. Going to be tricky, and they're going to have to try and get used to driving this kind of machine, because I think challenger weight, should we say.
Yeah, and also the G55 GT4 no longer in use by Ginetta, now using the G56s, the GT4 class. This was a car that featured very heavily on the Toka package and has run the likes of the late Dan Kirby, British Touring Car Champion Tom Ingram, Adam Morgan, quite a few other drivers to boot. But we're underway with our first 20-minute qualifying session of the season. The races will be 50 minutes plus a mandatory pit stop, and the person that won the ST150 championship a handful of weeks ago, Jake Hewlett, is out there, well, literally blasting his way round in these rear-wheel drive cars. And there he is, the number 66. And you can just see the amount of colour that we'll have, but also, as you said, very different machine to what we had with the ST150s, of course, rear-wheel drive. A bit of a different setup. It's front-end heavy, so as we've just seen Jake Hewlett go into Brooklands and Luffield, as soon as you hit the anchors, the nose will dip, and then you've got to try and rotate the car around the corners, but you've got to wait until the last moment to put the power down as he comes out of Woodcote, heading in towards Copse. And we will be using the traditional current de facto Grand Prix layout, which means that we'll start at the Hamilton Straight, heading into Abbey, into Farm, and into Village. But Jake Hewlett, 1.956 seconds on a 2:06.545, nearly 2 seconds quicker than Mitch Marie, who rounds out second. Maurizio Siglio in third. Kev Talbot and Justin Kirk round out the top 5. Stefan Rhodes and Will Butsey have already been in chat saying Stefan's gone. Jake Hewlett will win this with his eyes closed. Oh, God, foreboding statement there, Stefan. Will Butsey says, let's go. I'll be back for the next one, but me, my wife, and my 2-day-old son are here watching. Well, congratulations, Butsey, on the new arrival in the family, and we look forward to having you along with us for the ride at Donington Grand Prix next week. So hope your good lady and the little Ben are very, very well after his or her's new arrival, the new arrival that's joined the family. But Hewlett again just putting in a bit of a masterclass here in qualifying, and well, he's decided to jump back into pit lane, and at the moment it is getting a bit closer in the battle for second place at the moment here, James.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried by that statement from Stefan, because it kind of looking true. That's the scary thing. I think here. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping Marie, Siglio, Talbot, Kirk, McIntosh, Rugi, all of these guys will be able to get quicker as the season goes on. But I'm a little bit worried. I am a little bit scared that Jake is going to run away with it here. Unfortunately, we seem to have a lot of white cars here this evening. Now, there was a livery pack that was installed, but clearly these guys' liveries weren't in them, unfortunately. So it does look like that we've got a good few white cars. Hopefully we might be able to get that one sorted out for the next race to get liveries on all of them. But 5 minutes left. Jake's out in front by 1.9.
Jaws music is ringing in my ears right now, James. It really, really is, mate, already. And we're not even at the start of the race yet.
Yeah, I just don't know if anybody's going to be able to get him. I'm a little bit scared that Jake might just run away. See you later. Take care.
Run away, run away.
Yeah.
That's what he did at the ST 150 Championship and won it with, what was it, a round to go. Yeah. So, yeah, it's what we would call in the automotive industry body in white. So there's, as bare as a newborn's backside is effectively what these white cars are at the moment, with no real livery to speak of. But Mitch Marie, oh, who's that's gone off circuit? Big old off, and that was at Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. So someone's definitely had a big old code brown there.
Hayden Gray.
Oh, Hayden Gray running in. And of course, you're going to see a lot of throwback liveries from the Ginetta Supercup Championship that ran as part of the Toka package. Of course, I mentioned the late Dan Kirby, who was a racer himself. Knew Dan for quite a few years, and that is one of his Oodle car finance trade price cars liveries. There's another one, I think it's a deep blue with red, that's also circulating around the track itself. Hayden's got a bit of time to find. He's not going to find it if the car's going to over-rotate like that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Keep spinning round. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, for Mr. Hayden Gray. He's going to have to try and work a little bit harder to keep that on to the track. Mitch Marie is so gone off the side of the circuit. They're not loving staying on the circuit here this evening, but it is round one, so... You know, I'm not overly worried about it. Obviously, some of these guys have been first time.
Yeah, it's just sort of, this first round for some people, they're going to get a proper understanding of the cars, and obviously they want to make sure that they don't do, they're going to find their Alex Wirtz limit, as in the run out of talent situation. But it is a case where, as they get into the groove of these cars, maybe by, I would say, probably round 2 or round 3, round 3 Spa, that's going to be a test all in itself where, we're running, this is a 3.6 mile track. We're running 2:06.5s courtesy of Jake Hewlett. We're probably going to be looking at nigh on a 3-minute lap when you get to Spa, and then you've got the elevation changes in the Ardennes roller coaster. So that is going to be something that these drivers will have to prepare themselves for, let's say.
Yeah, it's going to be a different kettle of fish. This is the thing, we've got Donny G on there, and we're off to the Nürburgring GP as well. But yeah, Spa is a different situation, should we say, compared to everything else. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think these cars are not one that you can hop in and just try and drive around. I haven't actually given them a whirl yet, so I can't actually answer how actual good they might be. I don't think I've been brave enough, to be honest with you, to have a go at these cars at them. But, never know. Never say never. I might whack in the steering wheel and see how I get on.
There's Albert Horacek, currently running in 14th place out of our 14 drivers, covered by, just under 7.6 seconds. So Albert with a 2:14.122. Teddy Cooper is showing on our timing screens at the moment, but has yet to venture out onto a lap itself. 1 minute and 35 still to go. And, well, the thing is that some drivers have made 8 laps of this circuit, so that includes Jake Hewlett, Mitch Marie, Chris McIntosh, Justin Kirk, Philip Rusek. They've managed to complete 8 laps, so they might complete 9 laps by the end of qualifying. And Stefan Rose going, are these fixed setup races? And Matek Mikuska in chat goes yes, so they are in the same boat, very much like the ST150 Championship that 150 Motorsport did previously. But we're into the final 60 seconds in qualifying, and, well, we both know that Jake Hewlett is going to be on pole position for the first race of the season out of 6. But then, for those remembering the ST150 Championship that we covered here on JPB, well, it was a 30-minute flat-out sprint. Here, strategy is a bit more conducive to the 50-minute race, because they've got to do a mandatory pit stop, James, and that could be the difference between winning and losing, my friend.
It can be, especially if they get any penalties going into pit lane or any form of dramatics take shape or anything like that. So I think there's going to be a lot to contend. Obviously, from their point of view, they've got to get it right, haven't they? The thing is, for me, if nobody is near Jake at the time he's going to go in, I think Jake will just have free rein to go and pick and choose whenever he wants to.
Well, I've just put my head in my hands because I've just seen how much quicker he's gone. As the check-in is out for qualifying, Jake Hewlett is going to be on pole position, 2 minutes 6.142. As the drivers now make their way down the national pit straight and head into Copse Corner. There's Chris McIntosh in 4th place. Currently his best effort at 2 minute 9.713. That's 3.6 seconds slower. As now everything comes to a halt. It looks like we're going to have the server changeover very, very shortly. Kev Talbot comes to a stop, heading into the loop. And that means he's going to be P5 on the grid for this race. And yeah, everyone's coming to a bit of a halt. And now, well, everyone's jumped into pit lane. So Jake Hewlett takes pole position for the first round of the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship here at the home of British Motorsport Silverstone. Mitch Marie will be in 2nd, ahead of Maurizio Siglio in 3rd place. Chris McIntosh will start 4th, ahead of Kev Talbot, and then we've got Justin Kirk rounding out the top 6. Andrea Ruggi, who we saw actually made a guest appearance at the final round at Snetterton 300 of the ST150 Championship, starts 7th. Alongside him will be Sam Hayes. Philip Rusek and Ryan Turner will complete the top 10, with Alexander Karavev and Albert Horacek rounding out the top 12, with Hayden Gray and Miku rounding out the 14 that put in a lap in qualifying. So 50-minute lap race around this 3.66 mile circuit has been around since 1950, and like a lot of circuits of the United Kingdom, such as Donington Park, such as Snetterton, all on localities that used to be occupied by RAF bases.
Yep, absolutely. Been around, and it's very, very old as well. The interesting thing, some points on this, we say 1950, but there were actually track models before that, for 1948. Which look very bizarre, I'm not going to lie. The model for 48 and 49, they do look very, very interesting indeed. So I think that would have been it was 49 we started to get this sort of changeover layout that we've got now, but we are going to get ready to go.
50 minutes of racing around the home of British Motorsport awaits as we are ready for the lights to go out here. And lights are out. Look at the 11s that Jake Hewlett just literally put down on the tarmac. As we're going to head into Abbey for the first time. Oh, bit of a melee in the background. 3 cars having a bit of a turnaround. But through that would have been Philip Rusek, Alexander Karavev and Albert Horacek coming into early dramas. As we head into the loop for the first time. Jake Hewlett just eking out an early advantage. And then we've got, I think it's possibly Chris McIntosh. Yeah, well, could be Mitch Marie in 2nd position as we head down the Wellington Straight in towards Brooklands and Luffield for the first time. But the gap, it is Kev Talbot that's moved up from 5th on the grid and now is running 2nd. 3rd place, it's Justin Kirk. Siglio and McIntosh have had a coming together in the meantime at low speed. And there's the peloton of white Ginetta G55s coming through shot as we speak, as we run on board the front right wing of Kev Talbot, trying to close in on Jake Hewlett as we now go down the national pit straight into Copse Corner.
Yeah, they are. They're leading down through Cops now. And Hewlett is done what we thought he was going to. He's just got out in front and is absolutely flying for Kev Talbot. So, unfortunately, it does look like Mr. Hewlett is going to escape up the road here. There he is at the base of your picture and look, flying away without any problems whatsoever. So, Jake doing what Jake does best.
Jake doing Jake things. It's a bit like saying Porsche doing Porsche things when you talk about GT3s. But Kev Talbot being closed in on by Justin Kirk. A lock-up going into Stowe by Talbot. This could give Justin Kirk the opportunity maybe to get a run on him going into through Vale and into Club Corner. As Jake Hewlett makes his way through out of Club and is going to head towards the start-finish line to complete the opening lap on this 50-minute adventure. One mandatory pit stop must be completed by other competitors. And Jake Hewlett crosses the stripe leading the way. It's going to be a Herculean gap, 4.1 seconds after the opening 3.66 miles. And there you see a few of the drivers coming through shot, hurling their way over the curb. Nice camera position there going through Abbey. As someone has a bit of a wide moment. That was Siglio, I believe, coming out of Abbey and heading into Village. Now they go into the loop, and Siglio's got Ryan Turner just behind. That's the battle for P5. Turner with the good old scare tactic of sticking your headlights on full beam.
Yeah, why not blind somebody up? You know what I mean? Have a go. And unfortunately for these guys, some of them have dropped off down the back end of the field. Alberto Horacek, Sam Hayes is down there, Mitch Marie, Miku there at the same time. So, but at the moment, Jake Hewlett out in front and absolutely flying.
Yeah, and he's making his way into Cops as Talbot, Kirk, McIntosh, Siglio, they're making their way out of Woodcote and going down the national pit straight as we ride on board with Jake Hewlett running in the number 66 Ginetta at the front end of the field into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. And you can see the fluctuation of the rev counter, no indicators of the actual speed, but these cars will top out at 150 miles an hour. Oh, Jake, be very, very, very careful of that grass on the left-hand side coming out of Chapel Curve, but he kept the throttle pinned and kept pushing forward. No harm, no foul there.
No, definitely not, but he's literally flying at the moment, isn't he? Kev Talbot sitting in second place there, under attack from Kirk, McIntosh and Siglio, all in the same thing. They're all battling around for the run from Stowe down Vale. At the moment, Hewlett out in front by 4.1 seconds.
And Kirk trying to put the frighteners on Talbot here for second place. McIntosh is going to make it not just two's company, but three's a crowd as they make their way out of Club Corner. So, gap after lap one was 4.1 seconds. It's nearly doubled. It's nearly 8 seconds to the good. And the best lap from Jake Hewlett so far, 2 minute 8.032. Kev Talbot on a 2:11.9. Kirk on an 11.5. McIntosh on 11.1. And again, Kirk trying to dive through at the loop, heading into Aintree. And Talbot just plants the car exactly where he needs to. Kirk nearly gets a bump from behind, courtesy of McIntosh in fourth. McIntosh has got the full beams on as we ride back on board with our second place driver, the number 06, as they head down the Wellington Straight in towards Brooklands once again. And this time is Kirk going to get through. A little bit of lock up there into that corner. Now into the right-hander here at Luffield, which pretty much comes back onto itself. And there's wait for your opportunity to put the power down. Run the car wide to the left-hand side of the circuit. Use a little bit of the runoff curbing. And McIntosh trying to go toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel with Kirk on the run through Woodcote, but not quite getting there yet.
Yeah, not this time. He's going to have to keep going in behind him at this moment in time. Kirk there sitting in third place, not really sure what he's going to be able to do. I think for me, I would probably just try and keep these cars going in the right direction. I think that's the thing. They've got to make sure that they're just going to be able to keep it on track at the moment. And these little Ginettas with these drivers in, unfortunately, well, chasing down a mythical ghost of Hewlett at the moment. He's 8 seconds out in front. You can see Kirk and McIntosh running side by side. coming down into Stowe now. Who's going to be able to get this? Kirk is on the outside, I believe, as they have both got white liveries, and I think Kirk does manage to hold on for another day.
Yeah, Talbot again locking up the brakes going into Stowe corner. Switchback attempt by Kirk in P3. Through into Club via Vale again they go. We're about to complete our third lap of racing. And, well, 2:07.6 is the lap time from Jake Hewlett. This gap is going to be north of 11 seconds at least. I can feel it in my water. 12.052 seconds after the opening 3 laps. Yeah, James was worried. He had every right to be. And I hate to think what it's going to be by the end of the next couple of laps. There's a lock-up from Kirk from the front axle as they went into Village and then into the loop again. It's just about with the braking, you've got to be very, very careful, because if you lock up, you could flat spot a tyre. And now it's 3 line astern. McIntosh on Kirk, Kirk on Talbot. No one's giving an inch, no one's taking a mile as they head down the Wellington Straight down towards Brooklands once again. And McIntosh is definitely focused. Kirk trying to send it up the inside. Slight little lock-up under rotation. But Kirk has just got through on Talbot. Going through into Brooklands. And now has got that move completed by Luffield. Now McIntosh has got to wait for his turn.
They're battling away at the moment. And Talbot's, I'm not going to say the cork in the bottle because it's a bit detrimental. But, oh, yay. No. Don't do that.
A little nibble there.
He had a bite at it, mate. It was almost like he was taking a little bite of your strawberry. You know what I mean? He was having a little nip at him.
Yep. And now they go through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel once again. So Kirk starting to slightly pull away. Talbot a little bit slidey, and he's lost it again. He's sideways. He's drifting the thing. And through goes McIntosh. And this is possibly going to give the opportunity to Maurizio Siglio to get through as they're going to make the run down into Stowe Corner. Talbot's going to be to the inside. Siglio's going to be to the outside, but Siglio's got a nose ahead at the minute. Is he brave enough to keep it through round the outside at Stowe? Not quite. And that's a very brave opportunity if you get it to try and put it round the outside of Stowe. But if you can keep it pinned there and get the inside line for Club through Vale, you've got a very, very good chance of making up a position. Nearly a bit of a love tap from front to rear between Siglio and Talbot, and both Kirk and McIntosh have bolted away after Talbot was completely sideways coming out of, I think it was Beckett's. He just completely lost the back end, managed to keep it pinned and saved it rather than over-rotating and going, whoops, I've slammed it into the barriers. Didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely do not want to do that, but he's managing to hold on from McIntosh. Talbot has just been a massive lock-up once again. Siglio's going to come and run alongside him. Through the loop they go. They're going to be able to get the job done this time. Round to the left-hander now of Aintree. Down the Wellington they go. See in front of these guys there as well. There is McIntosh. And he is having a go at Kirk at the moment, going into the left-hander of Brooklyn. So battles all the way through, going to make it very, very interesting.
And because of the fact that Jake Hewlett, after 4 laps, has got a 16-second advantage, let's just say they've got to have a miracle for Jake Hewlett to have a problem. Ruggi and Siglio have had a slight coming together in the meantime, and Ruggi's now gone down to 7th. That's promoted Ryan Turner up to 6th place. Hayden Gray, who qualified outside of the top 10, now finds himself in 9th place, having got past Alexander Karavayev. But there is Hewlett, who now has a lead of 17.8 seconds, and that is increasing by the sector, maybe even by each corner, as Turner closing in on Siglio as they go through into Chapel. And those two drivers are about half a second apart. Ruggi is a further nigh on 5 seconds behind after the slight touch, as Kirk and McIntosh are starting to trade a little bit of paint.
Well, white paint.
Yeah, down to the primer it goes.
Yeah, they've just gone all the way down and job done. That's it. Easy on there. But I'm not the only one they're not showing up for either. I know a couple of others have got an issue with the paint, so hopefully we can get the paint files sorted out for next week, and we'll be able to see what lovely guys have got. So great job from everybody at the moment. yeah, an exceptional job by 19.5 seconds out in front. I think Jake's just going to go and pick up a favourite grandma, chuck her in the back, and maybe stop for a KFC on the way round.
And maybe a shopping trip to Asda whilst they've got the opportunity as well. There's been a little bit of contact between Miku and Mitch Marie. Mitch Marie qualified in P2. Didn't start from the front row of the grid, actually, because the car wasn't visible, so might have had to start from pit lane. So Mitch Marie will look to try and sort that out for round 2 at Donington Park in a week's time. And there is Sam Hayes trying to close in on Hayden Gray. The gap between them is about 5.3 seconds, but Hayden Gray is on. And on cue, Alicia is in chat, James.
Yes, hello, hope you're well. Thanks so much for joining us. Hewlett's out in front by 20 seconds at the moment. He'll be able to go into the pits, get filled up, and come back out the other side, and well, he'll be back out in front.
Yeah, he'll be able to have a nice toasted ham and cheese sandwich in that time that he has the pit stop as well. But we are now, well, the pits are open, and as you can see,
off.
Oh, that's not what he wanted. So Siglio was running P5, so Ryan Turner has gone up to P5. Ruggi now up to 6th. Siglio down to 7th place. Rusek and Karaveyev ran out the top 9, with Hayden Gray running out the top 10. And McIntosh, lock up there slightly from the front of Kirk as they made their way through Stowe Corner. And, well, Kev Talbot looks like he's actually gotten a handle of his car, unlike what we saw a couple of laps ago, James, that he's keeping it not sideways, but also the fact that the back axle is not trying to swap ends with the front.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's so tough that might not have gotten practiced in. And what that does is, coming into a race like this, it leaves you in a really, really horrible position, because you're not quite sure how the car's going to react, what to do, if I'm going to hit them like that. Oh,
and that was Chris McIntosh just completely having a tank slapper and whoopsie daisy. And, well, Ryan Turner had to put on the anchors sharpish on that.
Turner just absolutely pair of under.
Yeah, he'll have time to possibly check him at the pit stop coming up shortly. But of course, with these mandatory pit stops, folks, of course, there's a lengthy window. Bit of a wiggle there from Hayden Gray as he's trying to close in on Karavayev again for 9th place. That's where we did see Hayden Gray a little bit earlier on in the race. But yeah, 25, just under 26 minutes of the pit stop window. So some drivers might decide to go for the long game, as in have as much fuel in the car as possible, and then decide to pit right at the last moment. So we don't know what the strategies are, folks. So we'll be guessing as much as you guys and girls are out there. But Hayden Gray, oh dear, on the kitty litter, and that was not what he wanted. That was coming out of Luffield and into Woodcote. He managed to keep a hold of it, but has lost all that time that he gained, closing in on Karavayev. Meantime, we've got Ryan Turner battling away with Chris McIntosh. So McIntosh, after his 360 spin around and rejoin, finds himself in 4th place. These two are separated by half a second as they are heading down into Stowe Corner once again. And as you can see, a lot of 11s where drivers have been locking up there, James.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out Hewlett just done the fastest lap of the race last time round, 2:06.631. McIntosh and Kirk, 2:10, 2:10.1, 2:10.3. So, yeah, this could be... Oh, I think there's... might be picked that down, but I'm not going to lie on that one. I think there's going to be a couple that will be a lap down, and unfortunately, well, blame Jake. Hashtag blame Jake in YouTube chat, I guess. But being how quick he actually is, it's just one of them things, isn't it? I think, unfortunately for these guys, they're going to have to, well, maybe jump in a practice session with Jake in there and tag on the back and ask him what he's doing.
Well, sometimes good racing drivers don't give it all away, do they? They'll just go, well, what you should do here is, it's like, do as I say, don't do as I do, right?
early on the brakes, but then he goes in and brakes 50 metres later than you. You're like, hold on a minute, you just told me to go early here, and now you're braking 50 metres down the road. So, I don't know. I think, to be fair, I think Jake's probably one of these people. He does driver coaching anyway in real life and in Sims. So, I think he's got an idea of how to coach and how to, help people. He is just mighty. He is literally mighty. The gap at the moment, 27 seconds.
And climbing.
Every lap. Every lap by 4 seconds, give or take. So, I think, I don't know if we can sit ballast in Jake's car or tell him that he's got to drive a Fiesta or Formula V or something.
Or if he sticks it on pole, he's shuffled straight to the back of the field.
I like that. If he's on pole, he's got to go from
top gear to top gear from the rear.
Yep, I agree. I think, Alicia, you should make that one happen here. But Ryan Turner, all the cars getting a little bit more spread out than we would like. Of course, you can see the gaps on the left-hand side. Minute 36 at the end there from Miku to Mr. Hewlett. And the lap time's only 2:06.
Oh,
just
and that was Ruggie. That was Ruggie that lost the back end coming out of the loop. And I think Tangle, the back end, got a bit of damage there. I saw him go off, like literally rotate the car through the corner and then all of a sudden wallop. And so Ruggie's gone all the way down to what is now, has got into the pit lane. So I think that was a bit of a foreboding possibility there for Andrea Ruggie, who was running as high as P6 in this race. Lost it on his own coming out of Aintree, and Rusek late on the brakes in his own right going into Village and into the loop. So yeah, Andrea Ruggie just a little bit too eager on the loud pedal, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Hayden Gray had a rough lap last time around. Literally 2:20, almost 13, actually, nearly 13 seconds slower than the leader. That was literally insane. You can see Hewlett, the red number 1 on your track map in the top right hand corner of your screens, and he is so far ahead as he's coming into Stowe, and everybody else is just going through cops. So the likes of Kirk and Talbot, they're just on their way through cops. So Hewlett racking up the gaps, 31 seconds here.
You know what that says to me, JP? When he gets in the pit lane, be a short trip into the box, out he goes, and he'll still probably be leading with a couple of seconds to spare, and then just blast away off into the distance and try and get his way down to the nearest county. Of course, Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire are pretty much overlap the circuit here, so he wouldn't have far to go on that front.
No. But the thing is as well, he is just in a different planet. And Stefan has said, this is what happens when you let a pro sim race with a load of normal people.
Stating the obvious there, Stefan.
Thank you very much for pointing that one out. But listen, is it not going to drive everybody to get quicker? Will people not look at it? Cav Talbot, his fastest lap at a 2:10, personal best. McIntosh just broken into the 2:09s. But will it not encourage everybody else to go a little bit quicker? Will it not will they not sit back and think, man, I've got to up my game?
Well, I mean, let's cast our minds back, because I think it was you and me on the broadcast for the last round of the ST150 Championship at Snetterton 300, and Jake did not have it all his own way, because he literally got mugged going into Riches on the opening lap of that 30-minute race, and yeah, he had to get his elbows out a little bit. So there was a bit more entertainment, I think, not just for himself, but also for everybody else and for us up in the booth. So it just goes to show that if Jake Hewlett wraps up this championship like he did the ST150 series, then it will be a case of it will be everyone else for themselves, and just batten down the hatches and go for it.
Yeah, you are right. I think it's going to be the best of the rest, and I think everybody else has got to make a choice. They either continue to be the best of the rest, or they've got to look and think, well, what can I do here? Can I actually do anything? Can I try anything? Can I even remotely have a go at anything? I don't really know. I don't really know what they got to do. There you go, Max, on your screen now.
And here we are, POV with Alexander Karavayev running in 9th place. He's about 3 and a bit seconds behind Mitch Marie, who put it on the outside of the front row in qualifying. Had to start from the pit lane and has now made it up to P8. As we're not too far away, about 3 minutes plus change away from the halfway point of this race. Pit window still open for another 18 minutes, so pits will close with 10 minutes remaining on the timer. So everyone will have to serve a mandatory pit stop before then. And then, well, after 10 laps, Jake Hewlett's lead, 36 seconds over Justin Kirk. So, yeah, Justin, you've got to do a lot better than a 2-minute 10.0. Well, his last lap was a 2-minute 10.6. Jake's was 3.6 seconds quicker, a 2:07.0. So, yeah, I think it's, as I said earlier on in the broadcast here, James, that it's a case of the drivers having to get used to the car. And behind Karavayev is Sam Hayes with full beam on resplendent display as Karavayev makes a bit of a blunder, heading into Village, and he's going to lose the back end, and Hayes has nowhere to go. Accidentally sideswipes him through no fault of his own. It was just Karavayev lost it, going into Village. Hayes to the outside. Karavayev's back end spun around and then wallop.
Yep, absolutely. Unfortunately for Karavayev, he's going to have to keep trying and going again here. Tiglio, Rusick, Marie, Hayes, all going to battle it out if they can at any point here. Kirk's got 37 seconds to Jake Hewlett. Hewlett absolutely dominating this race with Kev Talbot and Chris McIntosh here at the same time as Ryan Turner in behind. So lots to take on here. Yeah,
it's a bit of a Herculean mountain to climb, so to speak, for Messrs. Kirk, Talbot, McIntosh, Turner et al. As we're heading into just under a minute and a half to go. Lock up there on the right front by Justin Kirk as he goes through into Stowe Corner. Whereas our race leader is already heading through the loop. And, well, Miku in the 14th place car is about, I would say, 13 and a bit seconds away from being the first driver to be lapped by the race leader. And it's not a case of if it will happen, folks. It's a case of when will it happen, as our leader makes his way through Brooklands and into Luffield. Miku M now coming out of Woodcote down the National Pit Straight, as Kirk still holding on to that second place ahead of Kev Talbot as they head into Village and then into the loop once again. But good showing by Justin Kirk, who qualified, I think, a little bit towards the bottom part of the top 6, and now resolutely holding on to second. But Talbot's looking to get that place back.
Yeah, he's trying to fight his way through here for Talbot, pushed in at the moment behind Kirk. And you can see these guys still continuing to fight, but at the moment, Talbot is not able to quite get through, as we've got 25 minutes remaining here at the moment.
And still 15 minutes of the pit window remaining here for the drivers to serve their mandatory pit stop. Hayden Gray comes in for his mandatory stop. Currently circulating in 11th position. This is the in-cockpit shot from Kev Talbot, as both he and Justin Kirk make their way through out of Copse Corner. Gap between them is about 0.7 of a second, give or take. And now they head into one of the fastest complexes in modern-day motorsport, Maggots, then into Beckett's, and then into Chapel before the run down the Hanger Straight into Stowe Corner. Kev Talbot getting a little bit eager with the with the loud pedal again. The back end stepping out, coming through the second part of Beckett's, heading into Chapel, but could get a little bit of a run. Gap is about 0.6, maybe even less than that going into Stowe Corner. And another lock up on the right front of Kirk. That is allowing Talbot to close, who was very nice, who applied the brakes very well, you would say, there through Stowe Corner. And you see the nose end of the the front end heavy Ginetta G55, and Talbot's getting a real good run now as they come out of Club Corner, and Talbot has now got in the slipstream. He's pulling to the outside, and in the run into Abbey, that is Talbot through for second position. But Kirk is not going to let this one go laying down without a fight.
No, he's going to keep trying to scrap away here as Kirk keep battling there and keep sitting back thinking, how am I going to get him back now? He tries that tighter line, not always the good line, through the left-hander of the loop. But at the moment, he's just got to try and battle on. Is there something he can do? Well, he's just going to have to try and put his foot down, because Talbot's come on leaps and bounds over these first 12 laps. And now these guys are the closest battle on the racetrack. Hewlett out in front by 44 seconds.
And that shows no sign of dwindling at all, unless Jake Hewlett decides to jump into pit lane, as we run on board once again with Justin Kirk as they make their way through. And now it's going to be the run down the National Pit Straight heading into Copse Corner, and you're going to be feathering the throttle a little bit. Talbot runs a little bit wide coming out of Copse on the run down to Maggots, and Kirk is trying to close that gap into the left, now into the right, use the curbing, carry the momentum through. Now into Beckett's and then into Chapel Curve. And more to the point, it is a case of, well, how much harder does Justin Kirk need to push to close in on Kev Talbot? Well, quite a lot, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to have to keep trying and trying and trying, but Talbot looks like he has got the bit between his teeth for this one. And it looks like he might be opening out a gap just a little bit. It's about 6 tenths at this moment in time. A great battle all the way through here, but still 21 minutes to go.
Well, I have to say this, though. I've been noticing by lap times, Chris McIntosh is consistently running in the high 2-minute 9s, and that gap is slowly but surely coming down. He's about 3.5 seconds behind Kirk at the minute, as Kirk flings it through into Abbey, then into Farm Curve, and then into the right-hander here at Village. And more to the point, it is the case of, if these two continue to battle like they have been doing the last few laps, as Philip Roussek's had a bit of an off in his car and has made contact with the local scenery. Justin Kirk is losing that time big style to Kev Talbot, but it is helping with Chris McIntosh's charge to go forwards. Just under 11 minutes to go until the pit stop window closes here for round 1 out of 6. And it's more the case of, you know, McIntosh cannot keep it nice and calm and cool under the surface. He might be paddling like heck underneath like a duck in a pond, but he doesn't want to start doing that and accelerate a bit too early, because the back end had a little bit of a shimmy there.
Yeah, I think it's all about power, isn't it, at the moment with these cars? You've got to make sure that you can get the power down comfortably and not do anything crazy or anything along them lines. So we'll have to keep an eye and see on that one. Now, I'm not sure if that's open or shut on the pit lane there, Alex. I think it's open in 10 minutes. So I think they've been able to get to round about that 50-minute mark, and then they might have to jump into the pit stop, into the pits.
Well, the pit window actually opens 10 minutes after the race starts and then closes 10 minutes before the race concludes. So that's what it says to me. That's how I would indicate it from previous experience. So we have seen Karavayev, I think, has headed into the pits. We've seen quite a few drivers head into the pits, but none of our leaders at the moment. Looks like they're going for the very, very long 3000 IQ strat and see if they can undercut any of their opponents in front.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because everybody is so spread out, you know, and that's the thing. Hewlett's put laps on Gray, he's put laps on Miku. Caravayev's just up the road for him at the moment, so Hewlett's chasing him down, and wow.
Horashek's also under threat.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Rugi probably going to come into this. Sam Hayes. Hayes' lap time, his best lap time was a 2:10. Jake's 2:06. So, yeah, I think there could be a few more people who find themselves a lap down.
Yeah. So it's just more the case of the fact of how much of a lead can Jake Hewlett have before he ends up going into the pit lane. Well, that's the £64,000 question that really needs to be answered. And we should hopefully have that answer within the next 8.5 minutes, because that's how long that we've got on the pit window for the opening round out of 6 for the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship. And a great place. There we go. 8 minutes and 20. Hewlett goes into pit lane from the race lead with nearly a 50-second advantage.
Yeah, absolutely flying. It's just crazy. What's Talbot? How close is he going to get? Hewlett's in pit lane, going down pit lane, going to be stopped soon. Talbot coming in through Maggotts and Beckett, so he's still got about a minute and a half before he even gets anywhere near Jake, and I think Jake will just continue and come out in front again. So yeah, for Talbot, Kirk and McIntosh, and it does look like Siglio's just had a little bit of an incident, or he's just lost a place to Mitch Marie there, and Siglio has gone down into 7th. So yeah, lots of action taking shape in the middle part of the field. The lead and the win might be kind of settled.
Oh, and Kirk and McIntosh are at each other's doors again. That's not what they want, really. Kirk now goes into the pits, so releases McIntosh into P3. So that now means that Kirk will drop a little bit further down the order. Hewlett at the minute, well, is back out on track. So we'll wait for the timing to rectify. 35, it's probably going to be about 25 seconds, I would think, hazarding a guess here of the lead that Jake Hewlett will have. It's starting to sort of get into around about the 33, 34 second gap distance between Hewlett, who's now making his way down the national pit straight into towards Cop's Corner, and that is Ruggi just in front. And Ruggi's just gone wide. Oopsie daisy, and you've got the race leader on your back, Andrea. So watch your 6, watch your rear wing, just be careful. And now they're going through at Maggotts, Beckett's and Chapel. Hewlett has got the headlights on, and it's not going to chance it until they get out of Chapel, which they're going to do now. And, well, good work there for the driver in front to get out of the way of the race leader. So 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Siglio's now in pit lane and has dropped towards the bottom part of the top 10 as sparks fly from the rear diffuser of the 66. Oh, big lock-up from the car behind going into Stoke Corner. So that is not exactly what you want there. But Hewlett just carrying on regardless. Just under 16 minutes to go. And Hewlett with a 35-second lead over Kev Talbot. Now, the big question here is that, well, is there anyone in the pits at the minute? Well, Siglio has gone all the way down to 12th place. I know that Kirk has pitted, he's rejoined in 6th, so this could give an opportunity for him to maybe get up into 2nd position, because Talbot hasn't pitted, McIntosh hasn't pitted, Mitch Marie hasn't pitted, and neither has, well, and Ryan Turner hasn't pitted either. Or no, Turner has pitted, but Kirk's got an opportunity to keep himself in the top 3 by the checkered.
Yeah, he has, and it'll be where that Kirk comes out. The other two have just gone into the pits now. McIntosh is in the pits, Talbot has not. He still keep going, but it's whether or not Kirk is going to be able to clear McIntosh, and what sort of run has he had out of pit lane after he went in there. And at the moment, possibly he's going to clear quite a few people, because there's a couple of others that have jumped in at the same time. Turner's in the pits. McIntosh is on his way out. Oh no, McIntosh now is on his way out, and Kirk does go through. So Kirk does get the job done over McIntosh there by the pit stops.
So McIntosh rejoins in 5th. Ryan Turner is in pit lane, so serving his mandatory pit stop with 4.5 minutes to go. And of course, as with normal racing leagues that we have here on the Assetto Corsa platform, if a driver doesn't serve their mandatory pit stop, there is normally a de facto penalty that gets thrown their way. I remember, what was it, the first time I started sim racing commentary on Assetto Corsa Competizione, there was a league that if you didn't do the mandatory pit stop, you get hit with a 2-minute 10-second penalty post-race. And someone got hit pretty hard on that one, and that was with the E-Team Brit Summer Series back in May of 2020. And I think it might have been, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was definitely it was an IRL driver who obviously was racing on the Sims. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was either one of the Team Brit drivers or it was a sports car, veteran that had jumped onto the server. It might have been one of the Bunskums, possibly either Alex or Chris. I couldn't remember which one, but someone got hit with a 2-minute 10-second penalty post race. Oh, Justin Kirk has just lost it.
Yeah, Kirk goes off, unfortunately for him, and has just lost the position to McIntosh. And there, so McIntosh has got back through. But for Kirk at the moment, he's got 13 minutes to try and get that position back.
And that is going to be in its own way a tall mountain to climb here at the home of British Motorsport. And Hayden Gray has had a slight tangling with the local scenery here at the Silverstone circuit. And there we see Talbot has come into the pits. Mitch Marie has come into the pits. So McIntosh and Kirk, who are now best part of over 3 seconds apart from each other. Oh dear, we've had Horacek and Karavev come together. They've had a bit of a 2 and 8 in the meantime. Gray again, I think, has hit the local scenery. And so Chris McIntosh up to P2. Now, the big question is, where is our third place driver? So McIntosh is out ahead, and there is Mitch Marie. So Kirk up into third, McIntosh in second, and well, Kev Talbot finds himself down at the bottom of the top 5 at the moment, but there is still 12 minutes to go until the checkered flag, and Jake Hewlett's lead now is a whopping 63.3 seconds and climbing.
Yeah, there is going to be a couple of people. I think we need to have a bet each week how many people are going to stay on the lead lap, because I think at the moment it's looking like he's pretty much going to be able to lap quite a few of them. So yeah, bit of an anticlimax, I think, because Jake has done what we said he was going to do and just escaped out in front, and is out in front by well over a minute.
Margin. A whopping margin.
A minute and 4 seconds is quite a big margin here for Jake. So yeah, kind of dominated this one a little bit.
Yeah, and he really hasn't looked back. The minute he put down the 11s on the start-finish straight when we went green, nearly 40 minutes ago, Jake Hewlett in the Demon Tweaks livery Ginetta G55 makes his way down the Wellington Straight on the run down to Brooklands, and then into the Triple Right complex, affectionately known as Luffield, Woodcote, and then Copse, before we head into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. 65 seconds and climbing. Okay, folks, in chat, 37 seconds until the pit window closes. Get your bets in. How many seconds, or how many seconds do you think Jake Hewlett is going to win this race by? We're currently nearly at 1 minute 5.5. I'm thinking that Jake probably is at least going to have, I'd say, 1 minute and 30 possibly as his winning margin in this race. Bearing in mind we've still got 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I don't. Whoa, huh?
Oh,
hello.
That was just a little glitch there, folks. I thought that Jake was going off somewhere, and
whoa, everybody's DNF'd.
Oh, right, okay, so we've had a slight issue with the server, it looks like.
No, I think Jake's had an issue.
Oh, Jake's had. Oh
no, because Kirk's out. Mitch Marie is still there. McIntosh is there. Hewlett's in pit lane. Kirk's in pit lane.
Talbot's in pit lane. Horacek's in pit lane.
Rugi's in. I don't really know. I can't answer that question at the moment, but all I know is there's people jump. Why did I get? We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know, Albert.
We don't know. It's got nothing to do with us. It looks like Hewlett has, Kirk has, Talbot has. It said he's not pitted. But hasn't everybody, even though they did?
Right, there is a telling sign here. Even though it's showing Jake Hewlett in the pits, his lead is increasing. So it is showing at 1 minute 7, 1 minute 8.
No, he's lost the lead. There
He's lost the lead.
It's saying that people haven't pitted, so it's DNF'd them.
So it might have been that they might have been disqualified from the session if they didn't pit. Well, Jake, I know, pitted. Albert definitely pitted. So whether there's a server issue, that is probably what comes to mind. That's the thing with modern technology, folks. Sometimes the server does what the server doing server things. I think it's probably the right term there, James.
That's a little bit harsh. I think that's really harsh on the people that have taken part and pitted, because Kirk is out, Hewlett's dropping down the order. You know, Hewlett could have stopped and picked up his grandma and gone back out and still would have won. Kirk's in. Yeah, try and decipher this one, league admins. Good luck for that one.
Yeah, Albert, you do always have to pit. It's mandatory. As per what I understand, it is a mandatory pit stop. So yeah, it's thrown a little bit of confusion, to be honest with you. But with each round, it is a 50-minute plus a mandatory pit stop. It says that. I mean, I'm looking at the at gridfinder.com where we've actually got everything. Yeah, and it says that Jake's been disqualified. Well, I don't know what for though, Alicia. So
results have to be nullified or amended back to when that issue happened. Surely.
Yeah, I mean that'll be dependent on 150 Motorsport. They'll have to make the executive decision on that. We're not gonna let's say what they will or what they won't do. But of course, yes, the thing is that certain drivers who were, Jake was ahead and clear by nearly 1 minute and 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden we found that he's ended up in the pit lane.
Yeah, with
same
Kirk.
with
Talbot.
Same with Kirk, same with Talbot. They all had pitted. And we'd seen that actually showing on our live timing as well. So yeah, it's down to 150 Motorsport, folks. So please don't shoot the messenger. We're just reporting on what we see live on the stream at the moment.
Yep, and at the moment we've only got 9 people who are going to finish, and there's a massive 1 minute 42 from first place Chris McIntosh right the way back to Miko at the end. And it does look like something somewhere is going to take dramatics. I didn't pit because I thought I can do not pit. No, see, that's why you got disqualified, dear sir, because you didn't pit. It does say mandatory pit stop in the rules, Albert. I will tell you this one. It does say that. It says it on Grid Finder as well in the events information, mandatory pit stop. So that could be why you actually got DNF'd. And I do wonder if, I'm sure Kirk went in, didn't he? Because he did. He went in as well. I'm sure Talbot went in, and we saw Jake go in. So, but Albert, if you didn't pit, that could be the reason why.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is at the end of it all, folks, we can only report on what we see on our screens, on our live timing, respectively. So, please don't shoot the messenger. We're just reporting it as we see it. Of course, as I said, and we'll put a line, we'll draw a line in the sand now. It'll be down to 150 Motorsport to decide what happens. So effectively, we're going to classify these results as provisional as they are at the moment. We're going to call the race right up until the checkered flag. So under 5 minutes to go. There's Mitch Murray, who started from stone dead last, as in the pit lane, and provisionally will take second on the road, but is closing up on Chris McIntosh. The gap was at 1.2.8 seconds. It's now halved.
Yeah, it's coming down to 1.4. So we'll keep an eye and see how close this gap actually gets to. We're down to 1.3 at the moment, so it is coming down. So McIntosh is going to have to get a little bit of wriggle on. Otherwise, Mitch is going to be having a fight with him going into the last couple of laps, because I think where they are at the moment, they're only going to get about 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Yeah, that looks to be the case. I'd agree with you there, James, because they're coming through into club now.
Oh, there you go.
Mitch Marie with a bit of a slide there. Just overcooked it a little bit too hot into the corner. And the back end stepped out to the right hand side. And that gap has gone back up again. It's now gone to pretty much the best part of 2.3 seconds. 2 laps of Silverstone to go here at the opening round of the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship. And Mitch Marie was closing in corner by corner on Chris McIntosh. And, well, more to the point, there is still an opportunity, even with about 6 miles of tarmac still to go. There's every opportunity that Mitch Marie could steal a move on Chris McIntosh into the dying stages.
Yeah, there's still a chance, but he's only got this lap and 1 more to go, and they're on their way on their way down to Brooklands before they go Luffield. So they've got give or take half a lap, and then 1 more. So Marie's got to get kind of a little bit of a wiggle on this one to make sure that he's able to actually get there.
Yeah, and that gap is starting to come down as our 2 leaders make their way down the national pit straight. Gap now 1.8 seconds and closing, as Mitch Marie is now going to fire it through into Copse Corner. Andrea Ruggi puts in a new personal best. Another driver that's managed to hit the high 209s, the 209.764. Ruggi trying to, well, it's a bit of a big gap between Andrea Ruggi and Sam, well, it looks like Philip Rusek, because Hayes and Rusek have changed places again, which is effectively for de facto 4th on the road. And that gap has come down. He's within about 1 minute and 40 seconds. Well, Mitch Marie has come through and has closed that gap to half of what it was. Now they're going into Stowe Corner once again. Next time around, it's going to be the white flag lap here at Silverstone, as we are going to head on to our 23rd and final lap here. So, yeah, I mean, that gap's now under a second. Mitch Marie on a charge here, James.
Yeah, he is. He's got 1 more lap to go. They're going to come over the line. It will be the fast final lap. These guys doing 209s, last laps, both in 209s. Marie did a 207. Could have done with this at the beginning.
I know. Would have been possibly on course to keep Jake Hewlett under tabs. But now, here we go into Village and then into the loop. I think it's either going to be 1 or 2 places. It's either going to be the run down the Wellington straight into Brooklands, or it's going to be Hanger straight into Stowe.
Yeah,
that's the best opportunity.
Yeah, I think so, but he's got to try and get a little bit closer here. Half a second at the moment, 4 tenths here, 4.3, 3.9. He ain't going to get.
He's not coming in.
Yeah, but he's not going to get him going into this one. It's going to be out of Maggots and Beckett's possibly. Then again, it did look like McIntosh looked a little bit slower through that. Oh, the mistake setting in. McIntosh making silly mistakes. Marie climbing all over him at the moment. Is he going to be able to get him before the end of the lap? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, well, this all-important run down into Copse Corner is going to prove crucial between McIntosh and Marie as they fire it away, line astern into Copse Corner for the final time. Now it's the run down to Maggots. I think it's just a case of Mitch Marie just holding back, holding station, just poking his nose alongside Chris McIntosh to say to McIntosh, okay, you better not blink, you better not make a mistake, because I will be quicker past you than the word jump. You make a slight unforced error. Now the run down to Stowe Corner for the final time. And now here's the slipstream. Mitch Marie, is he going to dive to the inside line? He will do. And that was a slingshot pass through into Stowe Corner. Lock up by McIntosh on the left front. And, well, Mitch Marie from the pit lane could be on course to provisionally taking the win in the opening round out of 6 as they go through into Club Corner for the final time. It's going to be the run to the line. Mitch Marie with a tank slapper. McIntosh to the inside. McIntosh, I think, is going to grab it. Marie goes wide coming out of the final corner. And it's check it out. McIntosh wins it by next to nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. He did there. McIntosh, big tank slapper by Marie. Looked like he got the job done. Couldn't cement that final spot. Turner's going to come over the line. Ryan Turner will finish off and be in third place. Jake's in YouTube. Jake, we did see you pit, so, you know, it will be however 150 go about this one now. Sam Hayes comes over the line in fourth place. Albert, we definitely know, as he said, didn't pit there. And unfortunately, that's why he got DNF'd, because it does say mandatory pit stop.
Yeah. So here's Sam Hayes, who's going to come out of club corner and take the checkered in fourth place. And then Philip Rusek will be next up, about 5.5 seconds back. Very shortly will make his way through out of club corner, which he's doing now, and will cross the line to take P5 ahead of Andrea Ruggi. 9 finishes set to take the checkered in this one, despite obviously all the issues that we've had with drivers that did go into the pits and did take a mandatory stop. But as James said, that's down to 150 Motorsport to look into it post-event. And Maurizio Siglio will cross the line, take P7. And then it's going to be Alexander Karavayev, who'll be next up. And then Miku in 9th place, who will be the last of the classified finishers. Karavayev takes the stripe in 8th. And then here's Miku coming out of the final corner, and the 9th and final classified runner on the circuit comes across the line to take the checkered, but provisionally Chris McIntosh is the winner of the opening round of the Ginetta Supercup here for 150 Motorsport at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. And well, next week we will be heading to our next venue, which will be Donington Park GP. So they won't, at least they'll go through the foggy S's rather than having to go through into Roberts. But, well, bit of an interesting and exciting at times opening race of the season here, James.
Yeah, it was, and it was a little bit dramatic, and this DNF situation is going to really spice things up. We'll see what 150 comes out with, and see how they get and what the situation will be. But I think from their point of view, yeah, not really sure what they could do, to be blatantly honest. Try and manually reset the scores. I don't know if that's a possibility or not, to be honest.
Yeah, but we'll leave it to 150 Motorsport to make the executive decision on that one. There is a little bit of activity in the 150 Motorsport Discord as we speak, which I can completely understand and appreciate. But Chris McIntosh takes the win. Mitch Marie takes second, with Ryan Turner rounding out our provisional top 3. We will give it a minute or two just in case any drivers want to pop down and have a chat with us post-race, but we'll give it a moment or two. But a good place to start off the calendar here, James, because we then go back to good old Norfolk for the 6th and final round on March 13th. But we've got a lot of distance and a lot of tracks to cover between now and then.
Yeah, we have, and we've got some interesting circuits that these guys are going to have to contend with at the same time. You know, we're going to go Donington Park GP, then we're going to go Spa-Francorchamps, then we're going to go Nürburgring GP circuit. So there's still quite a lot for these guys to contend with, and I think they're going to finish off the season at the Snetterton 300 with Brands Hatch in there. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how these guys get on and see how it goes. But by the looks of it, well, it could be Hewlett's championship.
Yeah, well, we've had a little wait to see if any drivers will come down post-race. Doesn't look like we're going to be getting any post-race interviews here for the opening round of the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship. Plenty of action still to come on the JP Broadcasting Network because, well, someone's doing double duty because you've got Radical Race Series at Okayama coming up in about, just under half an hour's time, James. Then tomorrow morning, Main Sim Racing Series Super Late Model 100 laps at Martinsville early tomorrow morning. TSRC Tin Top Sprint Season 2 Round 3 at Mugello tomorrow night. Then we've got the Virtual World Sports Car Championship 1984 at Daytona on the 8th. Then we've got the Narrows Season 1 Round 14 Donington for I think it was, what was it, for the throwing it back 200, the Premier Endurance League GT3 Limited Endurance Championship on at 8:50 in the morning on the 9th. The Old Guy Racing League Coffee Cup returns, Season 4, Round 29 at Barcelona. Conspit GER 86 in association with Tanzo, heading to Summit Point. IGP Fun Super Formula Lights Sunday evening at Jerez. And then Sim Racing for Simpletons, Super Formulas, Round 4 at Jerez for their winter season, early Monday morning. So that's it. That's a JP Broadcasting production. You've joined myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt. And as always, race hard, race fair. And if in doubt, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Good night.